everyone, this is Avery JV, back to you with another video. This is a very random one, but here we are. We're going to be taking a look at DC Multiverse Figures from McFarlane Toys. We're going to be talking about the different varieties of these action figures. We're going to be talking about my top favorites and my least favorites. But I have a specific array of them sitting on this rotating plate for you, and I'm going to explain real quick what these are that you're looking at. So getting right on into it, we have the Merciless. This is a collect-to-build figure. You had to purchase several figures in a line in order to build this figure. I had to build it because metallic blue, nice silver dry brushing, very large figure, and it's a version of Batman, Wonder Woman, Ares sort of looking thing. I just thought it looked cool. I'd never read the comics, but I just liked it. This right here is what I consider one of the best figures in the line so far. Fully articulated Deathstroke Rebirth figure, fully decked out with detail. Very simple paint, very simple accessories, but definitely worth your time and valuable price. This is the Target exclusive Gold Label collectible. The reason he's here is because Gold Label is basically exclusive figures or exclusive variants of figures. In this particular instance, this is a variant to Deathstroke. Same exact head sculpt. One of the arms is similar. The legs are almost the same, the feet are about the same, the belts are the same, the torsos are different, and obviously the weapons and the paint are different. Oh, and the hands are the same. So I figured I'd throw one of those in there. And what we have right here is a basic variant. A basic variant normally includes something that is unmasked, in this case Batwoman without her mask on. She does not come with the mask at all. That is a huge downside with these variants, is if you want a specific figure, but you don't want to have to pay $40 for two of them, you're out of luck, because you're not getting it with these. Then right here we have Batman from the Arkham series. This is what I would consider the worst of the worst. Horrible looking joints, ugly head sculpt, the feet movement is just dreadful. So we have our worst and we have our best. We have the highs and the lows here. We just have different versions of different figures, and we're going to go over more in depth with some of these figures, take closer looks at some of them. But at the end of this video, you will be able to identify what you would consider quality, whether or not you should continue or if you should start collecting DC Multiverse figures, and what the hell you're looking at every time you go to a store. So we'll be right back in just a second, and we will go over Red Hood. So here we have 4 Red Hood figures from the McFarlane line. Now before we actually take a deep dive into these particular figures, I want to go ahead and actually specify some of the details of a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. So what you normally get with a DC Multiverse figure is a black display stand with the DC logo glossed into it with one peg sticking up for the foot. And you can get a trading card. Now here's the fun thing. They're not really trading cards because they come with the figure specifically. You're guaranteed the card if you get that specific figure. And I don't know. I guess I don't really understand how something can be a trading card or a collectible card if it's, you know, like in this case, it's a picture of the action figure. And that's one of the things you should understand is if some of them will come with a picture of the action figure, some will come with like an actual comic book photo. You have some that are in-game renders of the characters. I think there's one in here of Grifter. It's a digital render of the action figure. And so they're really strange, to be honest with you, and the stands, they're nice. I don't entirely understand why, but I do, because you have to have a stand for some of these collectibles. Some of these action figures must have a stand or they will not stand. Now, for this particular group, the reason I want to start with Red Hood is 1, because there's quite a few Red Hoods. 2, they're all very different versions of Red Hood. 3, they have a problem. Well, some of them have a problem. And I will get into that right now. So, DC, as you can see in front of you, this is the rebirth version of Red Hood. You can see he has 2 pistols, a stylish outfit. It is one of the coolest looking versions of Red Hood out of this line so far. Very popular figure and actually worth a very pretty penny. I got it retail price, 25 bucks from a seller. He's amazing. However, he has guns. You'll notice none of the others have guns. And the reason that is because McFarlane, DC, they told him no guns. Don't have guns in the figures boxes with the DC. They don't want to capitalize on gun violence. They want kids to not be, buying toys that come with guns. It's very strange, but I understand. Kudos on them for trying, but maybe not the appropriate line to be trying to do that. It's sort of like with Marvel making laser guns and things that look out of this world to substitute for real guns. That makes more sense than just not including anything. Now, they include things, and we'll get into that, but it is a little weird. Now, you'll notice here, he has a crowbar. It's Jason Todd. It's a really cool, very grim looking version from the 3 Jokers. This is a very decent looking figure, very fun figure to have, very colorful helmet. He has a crowbar, but he does have trigger fingers. We will get into that soon. Now this one, he also has gripping hands that can hold guns, but he has fists, a gripping hand. He has 1 fist, a gripping hand, and 2 of these pistol hands. They're just little hands that are just doing that, so they kind of made it fun. Very original figure. Not everybody's very happy with how he looks. I've grown into it. Now this version is probably one of my favorites. This is the Arkham Knight version of Red Hood. Instead of guns, he does have the hands to grip guns. I cannot stress that enough. He has the hands to grip the guns. Just no guns. But what he does have are fists and effect pieces from the game where he's attacking someone with a punch and when he's whipping his arm around to punch somebody. So if you're looking at it from that angle, it will look like he's about to swing his arm in to punch somebody. And it is really cool. And now, I think what makes Red Hood so cool is that nice metallic red helmet, the dark Batman-esque outfit, the military style, and the absolute unknown identity. If you don't know who he is at first, we all know who it is, but if you didn't, it just makes it really cool. And I think the Rebirth version is the best rendition of Red Hood. However, I think the 3 Jokers version has like the coolest looking jacket, has a lot of good details in it. I think this version is just very bizarre, and I love the Arkham Knight as is. Now, let's go back to these 2 right here. As I said, I love that design, I love that helmet, I love this jacket. And now I will go ahead and tell you what I mean. So with this figure right here, very nice figure. If you look at the back, it's very smooth, has those new 52 lines in it. And it's a very nice figure. I love that torso. I love the sculpt in the legs. I love the articulation. But that helmet's a sweet spot for me. Now, As I said before, I love this version, but I really like his jacket. You see, it has that leathery texture to it. It's very nice, sharp shoulders, very grim looking. Has the same legs as the previous one, just different paint on it. But he has a crowbar. Now, why am I telling you these details specifically? Well, because I've actually figured out how to fix this. What I'm going to show you is probably very bizarre for some of you, but we're going to go for it. So what you can do, if I can do this on camera, this is probably going to be very difficult to do on camera, but you can pop the arms off because it's a ball. And we can do that to both sides. And now this goes for most DC Multiverse figures as far as I know. You take the arms off, jacket will slide right off. Pop out these little the butterfly joint parts. You're left with Nubby here. Now we're going to take this figure and we're going to do the exact same thing. His arms pop out a lot easier. Jacket comes off and you're left with him. He has an indent on his back. We'll get into that in a few as to why that might be important to consider. But while I struggle to get this piece off, there we go. So I got it off. Now we have two of them. And now I will say, his black jacket was kind of hindering some of his articulation. It kind of took away from him a little bit. So, but we're gonna do the cool one first. So we'll take the, we'll take these red joints and we'll put them on here. This is hard to do with gloves on, but I do the glove thing because it gets less oils from my fingers onto the figures. Put the jacket on. So we got his jacket on. And now we're going to put on the three Joker's arms. I'm just going to do it off camera for a second. All right, one arm. Come on. It's always the other arm. One of the arms is like refusing to pop in. Oh, no, I think it actually went in already. I was just forcing an arm for no reason. All right. And so now, if we get back into frame, we now have a very, very sleek looking version of Red Hood. This is like my favorite version now. Has the nice sharp edges in the shoulders. Really cool, very good articulation. You do have to, mess around with it for a few to hide some of those red parts. But I mean, once you get it done, I mean, you can't deny that it looks really good. But here's the thing. He has a heavy hunch. Now, technically, you can make it look a lot better, and you can make it look 10 times better. You would just have to cut the part that sticks into his back. You would have to cut off the inside of this. It doesn't really do anything for the other figure anyways. But I mean, once you get that cut off, I mean, that's a pretty cool looking figure. I mean, come on. And now what we're going to do, just because we have the extra pieces and because I kind of want to leave mine like that, sound off in the comments below what you think of swapping out the parts, kid bashing DC figures to make the perfect DC figure. Let me know if you think it's a terrible idea to take apart figures and swap out their parts to make perfect figures. And now I know this one might look a little bit stranger now, given the high details of his torso and legs and stuff. But I mean, there you go. Now you have a more... You got a fun little guy. He's got better posability, I mean, that's for sure. You can definitely... you can articulate him a little bit better now. It's not as difficult to pose his torso because it's not as, blocked up with that thick jacket around him. So I think that looks pretty good. But again, we're really doing it for that. That is way too sleek for me to change. And what's nice is the red actually matches on the back of the hood to his chest. That actually kind of matches. So you got a perfect figure there. And all you gotta do now is take one of your many, for the most part, interchangeable DC stands. And we put him right on there. And now we've got a really good Red Hood figure. That's pretty awesome. So that is how you can kit bash a figure. That's what these figures basically are. Now let's go ahead and go into the best figures and the worst figures. Alright, and here we are with our least favorite figures of ever. Now, the way I'm doing these lists is in almost no particular order, at least for this part it isn't. And I'm not going based on what released this year specifically. I'm going off of the entire line. Anything I have collected and is in my possession, count. Now, so what we have here is 4 figures. All of them are Batman. And we're just going to go over very quickly. I really don't want to look at these pieces of shit anymore. So what we have is the Arkham City or Arkham Asylum version of Batman. We have the movie Batman. And we have 2 animated series Batman. Now, what's wrong with them? They all seem pretty cool, right? No. First of all, McFarlane, don't know what went through your head. But no, you cannot just make an animated, proportionally accurate version of a character, action figure form, fully articulate it, and make it be able to stand up. Okay, they are standing, but that is by a frickin' miracle. That is not by, oh, well, they just stand. No, their feet are tiny, their torsos are massive, and they're not very fun to pose, like, at all. I hate it when a collectible has articulation that's very, I don't want to say crunchy. I think you guys know what I mean. It's like ratcheted joints, but they are super hard to click. I hate those so much. I prefer fluid figures that move around with ease and are able to just hold the pose they're in. Now, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't really fit into the crunchy category. He fits into the wobbly as hell category. He also fits into the I don't have the right hands for anything. This torso makes me look fat, and this is a reason Robert Pattinson wasn't going to be a good Batman to some people, because I'm pale as hell, I have lipstick on, and I'm always brooding, looking into the wrong direction. That's that. Now for this figure, this is a special case of crap. That head sculpt, I don't care if it's accurate or not. That is an ugly face. And then his hands, don't know why you thought those were proportionally accurate, but those are tiny ass hands with the biggest ass gauntlets. Then you've got his feet. I mean, look, they're not even pointed in the right directions. They're not. And I can't get them to go straight. They don't pivot. They don't do anything right. They're just pieces of garbage. And they're horrible figures. I've had them in storage. They are terrible. And this light up effect back here, you can't even see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. So, watch. The whole lightning bolt, the whole point is for the lightning to light up. They put the lights in certain parts. So it doesn't even actually like light the lightning. It just lights a small portion of the lightning. So that doesn't even work. And then this thing, it's just as bad as the original, just has a swooping cape. That's it. So I'm sorry, but they are terrible figures. rant over onto the best figures ever. Coming in at number 10 is the Hellbat suit. This figure is the first one I really wanted to buy. Out of all of the first announced figures from the very first wave, the Hellbat suit was number 1 on my list to have to purchase. Never heard of it before, but I had to have it. Why? It's basically Tron meets Hell meets Spawn meets Batman. Instant success for me. Large plastic wings that are posable, plus the sharp pointed shoulder pads and gauntlets, plus the sharp fingernails with the bulky solid metal boots, plus the nice bat-shaped helmet that doesn't reveal any face, just has a smooth surface and a V going through the front of it. That's a huge plus. The crimson red bat logo with all that extra detail, absolute 10 out of 10. This figure is very posable considering how bulky it is. This figure set a standard for how cool these figures should always be, and this figure is absolutely incredible. I really don't know why anybody wouldn't purchase this amazing figure. Now, obviously, it's been a long time since it was out, but I'm sure there's ways to get it. And if you can find a way to get it, you need to go get it. On to... Now, oh yeah, the only reason it didn't get any higher on the list is because it is a bulky figure and some of the joints have gotten loose over time. That's pretty much about it, and his head doesn't move very well, but that's about it. It's just kind of a bulky figure. That's it. Number 2 on the list is the Batwoman variant figure. Now, I gotta say, I have a little bit of a bias towards this figure because I, first of all, got it for $9 at GameStop. 2, I've always been a fan of the Batman Beyond suit. And 3, I think that is a gorgeous head sculpt. Gorgeous head sculpt. And I've seen ugly head sculpts. That is a beautiful head sculpt. And the fact that you can make the wings attached to the arms so she can fly out. She has the boot jets that fly out. She has extra hands, a batarang. She is fully packed. Retail price was like $20. And now here's the bonus feature. If you got the unmasked version, this is... that I cannot speak today. If you got the unmasked version of this figure, which you're seeing right now, you paid less for the figure than you would have if you bought the masked version with the Build-A-Figure part. That is really cool that Todd McFarlane made it cheaper to get a variant of the figure if it didn't have the extra Build-A-Figure part. And this figure shines so much. Very proportionally accurate, very good articulation, very easy to pose, exceptionally brilliant paint application, sculpt, detail, accuracy, and faith into the character. It has the card that tells you all about the character, and I really appreciate how accurate that is. And honestly, it's a brilliant figure. It did not get higher on the list because there are figures that I found even more impressive. Let's move on. Coming in at the number 8 spot on our list, and here we have the Batman Beyond figure. This figure is incredible, very well sculpted, detailed, painted, accurate to the source material, and everyone please thank Todd McFarlane for understanding. And what do I mean by that? I mean he produced a Batman Beyond figure that made some sense. We've seen a lot of Batman Beyond figures in the past that are just awful. They either have horrible head sculpts, their body proportions are terrible, the posability's terrible, they paint on the logo, they just make it a vanilla body with the paint, so therefore it's the frickin' Batman Beyond. The wings aren't even always included, and if they are, they peg into the back and they're just stupid as hell. This figure understands. because this figure, you can peg his arms into the wings. The wings are posable. Look at that sculpt. It's perfect. It's like a perfect mixture between realistic and animated. And guess what? The cooler part? There is a variant. So if you don't want his lips showing like a Power Ranger through the mask, there is a version you can purchase with the Build-A-Figure part that does not have a mouth plate at all. It's just solid. It is completely solid. It looks so cool. It comes with extra batarangs that are different from this one. It's so much of a variant that it's worth the purchase of both at the same time. I really hope to find my copy sooner or later. I say mine because as soon as I see it, it gonna be mine. But it's not any higher because, again, other figures a little bit more impressive. Alright, and here we have on the 7th spot is the Red Hood from Arkham Knight. The reason this is number 7 on the list is because it actually impressed me. I thought I was just buying the figure for the looks and I wasn't really going to do anything with it, and it was kind of be one of those regretful purchases, but I really got to have the Arkham Knight character. I know it's not the Arkham Knight, but it is. I mean, let's be honest, there's no spoiler there. But I mean, instead of guns, they give you the extra fists, they give you the effects pieces, they give you good posability. It's a very fluid figure, very well detailed. I mean, come on, look at that. Look how much detail they put on him. Look at all that. They did so well with this figure. I was thoroughly impressed when I opened it. I have no regrets purchasing this figure, and thank the Lord they actually made it well. So the only reason he's not any higher is because his helmet is underneath the hood. You can't really move the head around very much. And there are, again, other figures that I found a little bit more impressive even than this. Coming in at the number 6 spot, we have the Azrael Batman. This is the Batman as Bat suit, whatever you want to call it. It was a Walmart exclusive. I purchased it at a comic shop after market price. It was like $40. It's really cool. I've never really cared about the Azrael Batman. But when I got this figure in hand, it's like, man, I'm gonna have to read a comic or something because I like this suit. I do like the brighter blue color. I do think it actually looks a little more eye-catching to me. I like the gold they used and the softer yellow golds and some of the parts and the whites, the grays. I do love that they molded a lot of the parts separately to avoid paint issues. And I love how big and bulky the cape is. I love the head sculpt. So much about this figure screams perfect to me. And honestly, I think it's really fun. I think it's a really fun figure. If you can get this at retail price or anything around it, I'd go for it. It's just fun. That's why it's this high on the list. So sitting here at number 5, we have the Red Hood Rebirth Kit Bash figure. The reason this is not any higher on the list is because I did have to kit bash it to really feel like the perfect figure. But it is as high as it is because it's so cool. Very good posability, very good detail. The fact that you can kit bash it with just 2 easy figures. One is really not easy to obtain, the other one's super easy to obtain. It just feels so great when you finally get it in your hand and you're like, oh my god, this is fun to pose. That helmet is incredible. The details are incredible. I have no regrets purchasing. I mean, look at that. That's incredible. There's no reason that should look that cool. There's no reason that should look that cool. So there you go, number 5. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have the Batman from the Page Punchers. I think it's called the Page Punchers. This is the Injustice 2 Batman figure. This came with a comic book, the stand, batarangs, extra hands. This is a loaded figure, and at $25, this is a steal. Why is he so freaking high on the list? Because I played Injustice 2 so many times. I loved that game. This simplistic design, but also the very intricate design. It's simple, but it's elegant. It's brilliant. It's a very good design, and we finally have a figure that appreciates that detail. We have a figure that not only has the appropriate design of the mask, but it has a very good mouth sculpt. The mouth has good paint. The eyes have good paint. There's a lot of really good textures in there. You can see between the leg there. Look at that. That looks like fabric. And then you look at the back. It has the texture that was actually in the game. This is an amazing figure. Yes, they could make the metal version. They could make the version where he doesn't really have an exposed face. You know, the really cool version. They could make the kryptonite suit. They could do others. But the fact that you can buy this figure and immediately say, oh, they can make more and they'll be good, is a sign that this was good. It has very good posability. It is easy to pose, and there's enough accessories to go around that you shouldn't have a hard time at all getting it into a pose. That is why it's at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have the Target exclusive gold label Deathstroke variant. This figure is amazing. The reason it's not any higher on the list is because there are 2 figures that hold a very special place in my heart. The reason it is as high as it is that intricate, beautiful, gorgeous detail. All the paint applications are to perfection. The articulation is immaculate. The cape sculpt is one of the few things about McFarlane that I never forget. Is incredible. Look at that. That is so dynamic. That is so intelligent. So well made. And I mean, look. You can see those details. Those details are incredible. That dry brushing in there, that's amazing. That logo, incredible. All these details. And this is supposed to be the variant to a basic figure. This was very well made, very well thought out, and they took a lot of reused parts and made something brilliant. That is something to be proud of, and that is why this figure is at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have the Blackest Night Batman. The reason he's at number 2 is because he is so perfect. I've wanted a Blackest Night Batman figure for a very long time. Very many years ago, I saw they had a Blackest Night Batman figure. I wanted it badly. It was way overpriced online, only to find out the sculpt wasn't too great. Some of the details were a little meh, and honestly, it just didn't live up to the expectations you would normally have for something zombified like that, but they had a good run. This figure blows that one out of the water. Expert articulation, accuracy of the comic, slender but perfect details, not too bulky in any places. Brand new body, 100% to make this figure. The cape, again, McFarlane with the freaking capes coming out and just beating everything out of the water. It comes with an atrocious Build-A-Figure piece. And those pieces are really cool. I've actually built it before. It was a very fun Build-A-Figure. Honestly. Seriously. And I got him for $15. Even better. Seriously. If you find this figure, you need to buy this figure. This figure is so well made, so well sculpted, so well painted, and it's very accurate. I mean, look, it's so tattered, and then you look at the inside, it looks like he got drugged through the dirt. It's incredible, and look at that pose. You can accomplish a zombie Batman pose. It's incredible. I really have to give my praises to them on this one. As soon as they announced it, I wasn't sure, but now it's in my hand. I'm 100% sure this is number 2. And to absolutely no one's surprise, number 1 is Deathstroke, the Rebirth version. This figure is phenomenal. Very, very good posability. I've talked about posability, sculpt, paint applications, and everything the whole time, but I've really got to hit it home with you guys. This is an incredible Deathstroke figure. Deathstroke doesn't get a lot of very good figures. He doesn't. He's had some good ones for their time, but he's never had a long-standing perfect figure. The DCUC figures are neat, I will admit that. But the bodies are really weird. It's not too great, you know. If you look at it today's standards, not that great. You look at this, they took a basic looking suit and gave him a lot of extra details. And he has grays in there instead of just solid black. He has a lot of incredible details. He is a little bit darker colored in person. I know it's a little bright right now, but trust me, it looks better in person. He has the God Killer sword and a dagger. Well, a knife. Not a dagger, it's a knife. He has a lot of cool parts all over him. And what's cool is they do give him hands to handle guns. So if you do have guns, I mean, there you go. He's set. This is incredible. Really? Of all the figures I've had from DC Multiverse so far, this has hit me the hardest with joy and appreciation for McFarlane Toys. And there you guys have it. So this was a very jumpy video. This was a video that included a lot of details. Might give you a headache, but at the end of the day, the point of this video was to teach you about the collecting of this line, the downs, the ups, the best and the worst, to teach you what they're really about. And I think to leave off, I'd like to summarize what we have, basically so you don't have to go back into the video if you forgot something. But we're going to go ahead and summarize what you may have learned from this video. So, clearly, Batman is a very significant part of this line. Batman has always been a part of the line and might always be a part of the line. Well, yes, it will always be a part of the line. Todd McFarlane himself says he does Batman because Batman is cool and everybody loves Batman. Batman always sells. You know, he sells more than any other character, apparently. That might actually be true, honestly. Just look at my top 10. But what we also learn is all of them come with those blue black stands in a trading card. All of them have pretty much no guns except for a rare few from the beginning of the line. If you would like guns with your figures, not to worry, they do have a munitions pack is what it's called. It's ammunition pack, but it's called the munitions pack. You can get it, you just had to find it secondhand. Sometimes the prices are really bad, sometimes they're really good. But I think at the end of the day, if you appreciate DC Comics characters, at the end of the day, if you appreciate high articulated figures, if you appreciate figures with a lot of accuracy, this might be the line for you. Now, the point in the beginning of the video asking, should you continue or should you begin collecting this line? The reason I ask is because the beginning of the line was a really rough start. You had figures that are way too lanky, too tall, really weird looking, obscure designs, some engineering difficulties. You had figures with like the dumbest accessories on the planet. You know, you just had a lot of weird stuff. But now it seems to me like Todd McFarlane has really amped up his game with this line, because he's starting to introduce more characters, more obscure characters. And honestly, when whenever he releases an obscure character, he tends to make a very good figure at the end. And I say that mainly because I have Grifter here. Probably would have included him in the top 10. I'll make him an honorable mention. Because Grifter is actually a very good figure. Grifter moves around very fluidly. He has very good articulation other than his head, but his head still moves around and still does stuff. It's just not what you would think. And honestly, for a character I've never heard of, I'd honestly say this was actually a really good figure. Like here's a good pose of him. I'd say that's a pretty good figure overall. If you find Grifter, I would take Grifter. But enough said, you've got lots of figures to choose from. If you're a Batman fan, this line is for you. If you do not like Batman, it might be hard to get into this line. If you do enjoy the little cards that they come with, the extra stands and all the variants and stuff, this might be a line for you. But at the end of the day, Marvel Legends are getting up to $30, $35, $40 each. And they come with almost nothing extra. And this line stays $20 to $25 each. And all of them come with very nice accessories. Lots of fun ways to collect and play. Honestly, I just don't understand why anybody wouldn't collect this line. But at the end of the day, it is up to you. It is your money, your time, and your desires. You want DC figures? Run for it and grab them all. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Please leave a comment down below what you think of this style of video. If you feel like this video dragged on way too long, I'm kind of with you there because I am sitting in my floor. I am beat. I don't want to know how long this video was, but I'm going to have to find out soon enough. But anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in hopefully another video, probably half as long.